Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, World Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be breaking into a bunch of news and information that will be dropping in World of Tanks Blitz very shortly. We got some new camos, we got some new test tanks, which I'll be making independent videos on, talking about their capabilities and how I currently see them in the testing process. We'll be talking about collaborations and everything. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that I do not make the posts that we're about to be talking about here. While the server is mine that the Droodles post bot is linked to, the only thing that is in common is the name. I set this up with a friend about 4 years ago. He data mines and posts the information, and then I just usually get quick access to it because it's at my server. You know, I've had a lot of people accuse me of writing the information and doing the leaks for the game when that's actually not the case. Just a week ago, my friend wrote about Amunet's win rate being 80%, even though that's not her actual win rate, and it looked like Wargaming was editing it and increasing it so that she looked like a better player. And there were a bunch of people on Reddit complaining about the fact that I wrote that, even though I'm not the one who writes these posts, and it's literally plastered everywhere. Asen, Asen, Asen. It's crazy to me that people think I'm the one writing it when literally Asen's name is plastered all over them. So get your facts straight. I've talked many times in the past about how I don't write these as well on live stream, so it is a little annoying when people spread misinformation and aren't even correct on that, but that's something I wanted to clarify now. I have no correlation to anything that is written in these news posts. The only thing I do is give him a little bit of space so that he can write them and get a bunch of views on them. So with that aside, we're going to be breaking into all the information. First one being the HoloLive leaks and Japanese VTubing coming into the game. We already know that Wargaming loves to kind of exploit the dirty-minded player base with backgrounds in the game. You know, if we scroll over to customization containers, we can take a look at some of these backgrounds. We got this one here. You know, we got an anime-looking girl. We got one here, you know, WZ-120 GFT girl. Obviously, all of these are in kind of almost lewd poses with very minimal clothing. There's a bunch of other ones. I think the worst one is the mech one, this one here. This one's pretty bad. I'm not going to point out why, but for any of those eagle-eyed people, Wargaming put some extra detail in certain areas, in my opinion, they shouldn't have. Point being, Wargaming obviously knows that a lot of their audience likes women, as I would say. I think 99.5% of my viewers are men. I actually don't think there are any women. If there are, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know if there actually are women watching my channel, but I highly doubt it. Point being, Wargaming is adding boobs into the game with a collaboration. Personally, I think this is just a waste of money. I don't think anybody that plays Blitz knows about this content creator. I mean, it can't be as bad as the Dr. Disrespect collab, Foresight, but in general, I just don't see how this collaboration is going to help them at all, but it's probably more of an Asia thing rather than the NA player base, but oh well, what can I say? It's interesting to see that that will be coming into the game. We've got a Blitz Streamer Jam profile background coming in, which is kind of cool, although I wish that they actually had all the different streamers and YouTubers in the game, which would have been really cool, but it's actually a nice background, I'm not going to lie. I think that looks pretty sick. We have some codes which are useless at this point, and this is where we break into the whole list of new camos and vehicles that are coming into the game. So, we have the KV-1S Legendary Camo. This actually looks sick. While I don't personally care too much about the KV-1S because it's down in tier 6, I'll still make a video on the tank when the camo comes out. I think this looks epic. I'm interested to see if this has a animation or not, but either way, the camo looks epic. I actually really like that. We have a Mill 1 Legendary Camo. I think it's a little goofy that they've basically copied a legendary camo that's already in the game. If you make your way to the tier 9 50 TP Proto, we can see this camo. And, I mean, let's be honest, the color scheme and design of these camos are almost identical. I don't mind the Emil camo. I just still think it's a little goofy that they basically copied something that was already in the game. We have a Jagdpanzer 100 Legendary Camo, even though we already had a Jagdpanzer 100 Legendary Camo. I do think this looks pretty cool, though. We've got Work and Roll. We got a little ice cream cone melted on it. I mean, it's a cool camo. I like it. I don't know exactly what we're looking at there. It looks like a little ice cream parlor. But either way, I'll probably put this camo in my tank. I mean, it looks cool. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, ah, darn, I only want historical camos. Well, if you do, you can make your way into the game settings. And somewhere in settings, it allows you to turn off camos. I'm not exactly sure where. But in the settings options, you can literally turn off camos so that you can only see base camos, which is what you'd be looking at in real life anyway. So that's what I'll tell you. We have new PBR tanks, which means enhanced graphics. We have the Object 907, that's nice. The Object 260, also quite nice. I'm really excited to see if the 260's armor get changed at all with the PBR enhancements. Bulldog, Hellcat, I'm really excited to see the Hellcat getting PBR because the Hellcat, I'm going to be honest, it looks pretty mid right now. It's one of the worst looking older vehicles in the game still. It's just really, really dark. It has almost no shading on it. It has a cool legendary camo, which you actually can't buy right now. But I am very excited to see what the Hellcat looks like. To be honest, we already know what it's going to look like as the Super Hellcat exists in the game. So the rendered Hellcat is going to just look like this or, you know, something like this. I think it's a little goofy that Wargaming hasn't already given the Hellcat enhanced graphics because of the fact that, you know, we have the Super Hellcat with already the changes, but whatever. And we have the Panther 2 and Tortoise. Okay. Micro patch will drop in 3 days. There are no balance changes for already released tanks in this patch. Blitzkit will have stats of upcoming tanks soon. Okay, we got some more stuff here. AMX 1390, a legendary camo for the Battle Pass. Kind of a goofy camo, not gonna lie. I don't really like this camo that much. It's got carbon fiber, which is kind of cool. I guess they're trying to make it look like this futuristic race car, but I don't know. I really don't like this that much. Kind of reminds me of like Avon Hertz from the GTA Doomsday Heist if you were to design a tank, which I guess is okay, but I won't be getting that battle pass. Draws in September. So we got a bunch of tanks that'll be coming out in September that you can purchase for draws. We have the AMX M454. Obviously, the tank's getting mega buff next update, so if you did want a chance to get it, now is your chance. We have the Turtle Carapace, Super Conqueror, another amazing tank that'll be mega buff next update, so another vehicle that you could be trying to pick up if you wanted. Hawk 30, kind of mediocre. We got the Kari. I actually like the Kari quite a bit. We have the KV-1S Legendary Camo coming out, a Mill 1 Legendary Camo, and the Jagdpanzer, and we can see the price tags correlating to them. Oof, 6,500 gold. To be honest, you don't need the camo to make your tank work, so I don't mind if Wargaming sets expensive price tags for camos. We have the Eric Concept 1 container. It's going to have a 5% drop chance for the vehicle, just like all other crates. And the vehicle itself is going to have some pretty good mechanics going for it. I'm really excited for the vehicle. We have new camos coming into the game for top 4 players. Well, maybe not top 4. There's 6 camos coming into the game, so I'm not exactly sure why there are 6 camos when there's only 4 seasons a year. But either way, we'll see. I really like all these camos. I think the light blue is obviously the best, but I also really like the lime green. I like the purple and the red and the blue. I think all of them are really cool, so that's nice. We got some new tanks that are coming into the game as well. We have the A46 Vickers MBT Mark III, G-Sor Fearless, Toxic, and the Lion. So we can take a look at all these vehicles. Starting off, we have the A46. This is a Tier 7 British light tank. Has literally no armor, 25 mils of upper plate effective, 20 on the lower plate. So basically, you're not getting any bounces in this tank. Features 9 degrees of gun depression, which makes it fairly flexible. Really good DPM, though, at 2,657. That's going to allow this vehicle to have crazy damage output. It's also very fast at 67 kilometers per hour, 160 damage per shot. Pen-wise, you have... Oof, 150 on the standard, but look at this. It has Hesh. It has Hesh Premium. 140 mils of that Hesh Premium and dealing 2,800 damage per minute with how much damage? 180. So I'm actually really excited for this tank. It looks pretty fun. I thought originally it was going to be really mid, but after seeing it as Hesh, I'm actually quite excited for it. We have the Lion. I've already fully equipped this tank as well, so we could see the best idea of how it's going to play. The Lion is the most disappointing tier 10 I've seen in a while. I'm going to be honest, it just looks really bad. I mean, Wargaming will probably buff it before it's released, but let's explain why, right? First of all, it has very little armor. Its upper plate's only about 200 effective, which isn't much in tier 10. Even if you're using full gun depression, it's still only around 250, meaning that every single tier 10 is going to cut right through you. And even then, the mantlet's only about 170 effective, so yeah, good luck getting bounces. Pair that with the fact the gun is also kind of trash. Look at the gun. It's got 3 shells. Shell 3 is a 4.53 second reload, but you also have to add on a intra clip of 3.33. So you're looking looking at around a 7.86 second reload on your most effective DPM. If you do all the math, it's around 2,600 damage per minute. 2,600 DPM on single shot is really not that impressive. But here's the interesting part. Shell 2 actually has a faster reload. Shell 2 gives you a 3.6 second reload. And again, if you add on that 3.33 second interclip, we can actually do the math here very quickly. So let me pull up my calculator and let's see. So we have 3.6 and then plus 3.33 should be about, 6.93. So then you do 60 divided by 6.93 equals 8.6 multiplied by 340 damage per shot. And that's actually not bad, 2943 DPM. So it's kind of weird. Shell 3 gives you less DPM than Shell 2. So this tank, you gain DPM when shooting it, but then you have Shell 1, which is just useless. So essentially, it's a Rhino with an extra shell. I actually think that the gun is going to be rather unique, but the problem is the tank's not that fast, only goes at a top speed of 52, and while it does have a great power to weight, that's just not very quick. I don't know. Personally, I would like to see this tank get maybe a teeny bit faster on Shell 3 and a little bit slower on Shell 2, but the tank doesn't look completely awful. You know, I actually didn't realize this, so I will take it back. I did not realize Shell 2 had a faster reload than Shell 3. I went over this tank on stream earlier, and I actually didn't see that because I just wasn't paying attention. But noticing that it does have a slightly faster reload, that actually is going to be quite cool, and it's going to allow the vehicle to be able to get out some more damage per minute. So yeah, not too bad actually. Not too bad at all. All right, I actually think this tank might be decent then, so I take it back. I still think it does need a little bit more armor, though, on the Mallet. Maybe around 220, because 160 is pretty freaking awful. I'm not going to lie. Its dispersion is also pretty mid at 0.317. Seems like Wargaming really does not want accurate Italian auto reloaders, so that's something else to keep in mind. All right, let's make our way back. We have some other vehicles. We have a Tier 8 British medium tank. This one I'm really excited for. It looks incredible. We have the Vickers MBT Mark III. This is a Tier 10 medium on PC, but it is a Tier 8 in Blitz. It has pretty solid upper plate armor, about 255, 260 millimeters, meaning that you're actually going to struggle to pen it unless you're, firing AP standard. And if it's using gun depression, it's going to be upwards of 320. So really, really good frontal protection, which is actually really nice. It does have a hatch, though, and a pretty weak one, only about 32 millimeters effective there, 88 millimeters. So if you have high explosive, especially when you're in a 150 millimeter, you can absolutely nuke that. Reminds me of a Chieftain Mark 6 hatch. But armor-wise on the turret, it's really strong. It's upwards of 230 to 300 millimeters thick. The upper plate's really strong. In general, this is going to be a really well-armored medium. Again, it's a Tier 8. Keep that in mind. This is not a Tier 10, it's a Tier 8, and it's got 270 to 60 millimeters of upper plate armor. And the gun is also pretty nasty. If you're running Cali and running everything else, it's got 2,000 base DPM, it's got 320 damage per shot. Its dispersion isn't great, but its on move is really good, so you're going to be able to hit your shots pretty well. And it's fast, 57 kilometers per hour, 20 in reverse, and a power to weight of 17. I mean, this thing looks incredible. I'm going to be honest, this looks like one of the strongest Tier 8s currently that will be added into the game if Wargaming leaves it the way it is. I'm quite excited for it, but I can tell you for a fact that that thing's going to be a beast. We have the G-Sor Fearless, which we've already gone over a bit in the past. Its armor is pretty useless, as we can see. And I'm interested to see the statistics of the vehicle. We have 2,900 DPM, 330 damage per shot on the standard, and how much on the premium? 380. So it's a bit less than a G-Sor. The Tech Tree G-Sor, or not the Tech Tree, I guess the collector G-Sor that you can buy is 440 hash damage. This tank does have more DPM, though, with the faster reload, so it's actually nice that they are making it quite a bit different than the Tech Tree one. We can obviously see it is kind of a furry vehicle. You can get a better look of it here. I actually really like the design of this tank. I don't really care if people hate furries. It's not something that really affects me. I just think the camo looks cool, and I'll be running it if I get it. I mean, I'll probably have it on my press account, so yeah, I'll be able to mess around with it. Either way, cool tank, so it'll be something new to mess around with. And then we arrive to the final vehicle, which is the Toxic. Really, really goofy tank. I mean, look at this thing. It's one of the weirdest looking Tier 8s I've ever seen. I don't even know what it is. It's a Blitz Nation Heavy. I have no clue what event or what it is, but it's probably going to be part of some sort of event. It's got 7 degrees of gun depression. Armor-wise, it's pretty mid. I mean, its upper plate's 155 base, so 180 effective. Even if you're running enhanced armor, its armor is not very good. 160, 120. The turret's okay. Like, if you're using gun depression properly, the turret's about 218 effective, but even then, it's not really good armor. I mean, loading gold, you're just going to butter right through that turret. So armor-wise, it's kind of useless. However, it does have a pretty good gun, 2000 DPM, and it has really, really good pen because it's a 400 alpha gun, 390. That's pretty good. It's going to have 200 mils of standard pen and loading gold. You're going to have almost 280, so that's really, really good. Its dispersion is actually pretty accurate at 0.344 for what is a 122. Its on move is pretty bad, so I'd obviously be suggesting to run on move values. Aiming time is pretty quick. It's not as fast as a T-34-3, but it's still pretty good. But it's slow. Look at that mobility, 44 and 18. It's got a good power to weight. Like 20 is really good, but the medium power to weight is awful at 14. People always look at this power to weight and they're like, "Oh, it's amazing." And then you look at the actual effective power to weight and it's pretty mid. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it needs more armor if Wargaming wants to make it you know, kind of this slower medium, especially because I have access to a 122 TM and the 122 TM is just kind of better than that, at least on paper right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all of the information that we currently have coming into World of Tanks Blitz. I will be making videos on each of these tanks and their capabilities individually in the future and letting you know my full opinions on them. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully enjoy the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.